Kilo, what are you doing in mommy's stuff? He's like sitting all over my shit right now. Here we go again with the cotton mouth. I want to go ahead and talk about my favorite primers this year. Definitely my favorite drugstore primer was the Pore Vanisher from L'Oreal. Now I gotta tell you, I used this for a huge chunk of the year. I absolutely adored it. Then I took a break from it because I started using another one. And let me just tell you, when I went back to using this, like 2 or 3 months later, I tried to grab it one day and it separated like crazy. Like, can you hear that? It's disgusting. I've literally tried to like mix it back up hella times. I almost want to take a blender to it. I'm so frustrated. Like, I've been trying to shake it back to life forever and I'm like, oh my god, it like won't like remix again. It's driving me crazy. But when I was using this for the beginning part of the year, like, I loved this stuff. It felt so good on my skin. I actually really saw a huge significant difference in my pores minimizing. I really enjoyed using this primer and I'm so sad that it's like separating like that, but nonetheless, if it wasn't doing that, it would definitely be my favorite, and it is my favorite because I did grab it a lot. When I took a break from using this, I was grabbing this a lot. This is a lot like the Professional from Benefit, which I very much love. I finished mine. I don't have it anymore. I have a backup, but I just haven't opened it because I have this guy. This one, I really very much enjoyed this one. This one was really good at blurring any imperfections that I had. I don't have very many, I have to be honest, but it was really nice for just kind of smoothing around my like pore area right here. And it actually did keep me pretty shine free during the end of summer. So when this first came out, like end of summer, fallish, I believe, I actually really enjoyed using it. I was more into pore minimizing primers this year. Anything pore minimizing related, I was all about. Favorite foundations. I'll start with my high end. Studio Sculpt, Studio Sculpt, Studio Sculpt, Studio Sculpt, Studio Sculpt. This was my jam this year. I didn't care what season it was. Okay. I remember when I first tried this, I was like, oh my god, I hate this shit. It was so thick on my face. I was like, oh god. But at the same time, I was also going through a phase where I didn't like anything heavy on my face. I was more of a tinted moisturizer kind of gal. I like didn't even fuck with foundation. But when I tried it recently, this year, I fell in love. It is a gel-based foundation, so it's one of my favorites from MAC. It should not be thick at all, so if you feel like you're applying it and it's super thick, I'll tell you right now, you're applying way too much. You don't need a lot of this foundation at all. It should be very lightweight yet luxurious at the same time, because what it does is it gives the skin a very dewy look, and I'm all about my dew. You know that I love my J-Lo glow. Okay, that's like my jam. Anything to give me a glow, I want it. I want all of it. Another gel-based foundation that I found myself grabbing a lot this year was definitely the Face and Body. You guys know I love, love, love my Makeup Forever Face and Body. That was my summer routine last year. I loved it. It was one of my favorite things ever, but I gotta be honest and tell you that I really grabbed the MAC one a lot this year. Most of the time, if I wasn't wearing Studio Sculpt or like a tinted moisturizer or another one that I'm about to mention, I was always grabbing this. It was one of the easiest to apply. So when I was in a super fast hurry type of situation, this is what I grabbed. I have two different colors. You can tell how much I used it. I don't know if you guys can see that bottle, but I use C6 a lot. Like literally I'm like, meh. And I use this for a long time and I'm not even done with it. It is a 4-ounce bottle, however, because if I bought the little baby guy, I'd probably be out of it like hella quick. Value-wise, the big bottle is definitely better. But I have C5 now because it's more golden between the two. This one leans a little bit tanner, so when I came back from the Philippines, this was perfect for me. And I don't know why I started using C6. It was recommended to me from my god sister, but she's like a notch warmer than me and a little bit more neutral. So this worked out for her. It worked out for me for a while because I loved looking tan, so I wasn't even tripping. But I recently tried C5 like within the past month and it's way, way better. That could also be because I'm lighter, so probably, but it warms up into my skin perfectly. I love this foundation. It's the bomb. Favorite drugstore foundation, definitely L'Oreal True Match took the cake for me this year. Love this foundation. Also have two different colors. I have W7. I don't even have the top to this anymore. Just kidding. I have W7 and W6. You guys have seen me do a flawless face routine with this as well. Most of the time this year, if I wasn't wearing Studio Sculpt, I was using this one if you saw me with a full face of makeup. So it was either True Match or Studio Sculpt this year. Anything other than that was probably face and body, or just anything random that I had in my collection that was new that I was trying out. Like, definitely my #1 favorite drugstore foundation ever in life. If you haven't tried this, you need to. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about some powders. Y'all know that I'm all about my Microsmooth from Sephora. This was the bomb. I love this stuff. I use this a lot. It goes with every single foundation that I own. Another powder that I really enjoyed using this year, there's 2 versions from Fanny Serrano. This one is just their foundation cake or whatever it's called. And this one, the color is better for me. It's called Toffee. I love this powder. It just looks so good. This is what I have on my face right now on top of face and body. I really much enjoy this powder. I also have the two-way cake, which is a really great alternative for MAC Studio Fix powder. I love them both, but I found myself grabbing Toffee more because the color was more accurate. I can now use the other one that I have because I was in between 2 colors for a while. One of them was my summer color. The other one is definitely my winter color. But throughout most of the year, this one was what I grabbed on my no makeup days, and I love this. I just love Fanny Serrano products. Like, it's the bomb. Honorable mention for my favorite translucent powder this year is the HD Pressed version. This is a little bit more hydrating than their loose one, which I also have. This one is more my favorite because I used it on clients this year, a lot of clients, and a lot of people loved this shit. It's just really quick. It's very easy to use. It literally just smooths everything underneath the eye, so that's really what I used it for on my clients. Favorite concealers. I actually strayed away from my Pro Longwear this year. I'm starting to use it again, but I notice I grab it less and less because I'm finding other products that I very much enjoy. But Pro Longwear was my favorite for a very, very long time. I still really enjoy it, but when I picked this one up, and I got this one in gratis, this is the BB Eyes from Smashbox, I found myself grabbing this a lot. And when I say a lot, I mean I'm surprised I'm not done with it because I used it a lot this year. I would say I used it when I was in the Philippines. I used it when I came back from the Philippines. So like a huge chunk of the middle part of the year I was using this until I discovered the Pro Conceal and also until I discovered the NARS one. So 2 of my favorite high-end ones, definitely the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. This is super comparable to my Estee Lauder Double Wear that I used to love using. I think you guys may or may not have remembered me using a long time ago, and if you guys are familiar with my channel from back in the day. But I really enjoyed the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer, both on my clients and on myself. Same thing with the BB Eyes. These 2 were best sellers for me this year when I worked at Sephora still, and they're best sellers for me. Honorable mention to these Prep and Prime pens. They're not really technically concealers, but I use them in conjunction with my concealers. I use both Light Boost and Radiant Rose. I was gonna pick up Bright Forecast, but I feel like it just doesn't do enough for me. It's wonderful, but I feel like it doesn't do enough for me. I like a really heavy highlight when I am highlighting. You see what I'm talking about? Like hell on my throat right now. It's bad for someone who talks a lot. Like, I talk a lot. Y'all know I talk a lot. So if I'm tired of talking, we got problems. Favorite drugstore concealer is definitely the Pro Conceal. I have 2 different colors. Well, I have all the colors in my kit. I was obsessed with finding every single color that they carried. I was like, I have to find them all. My clients love them. I love them. The ones that I use for myself personally, I have Creamy Beige, which is this one, and then I have Pure Beige, which is this one. Creamy Beige is a little bit lighter, so when I want a heavier highlight, I'll go for that one. But on a daily basis, I'll grab the Pure Beige and then I'll highlight with other stuff. Since we're still talking about complexion, I want to go ahead and talk about my favorite bronzers. Honorable mention to my contour kit. I use this a lot on other people than I did on myself this year, I have to be honest. I used it a lot in my kit. This kept me from carrying 1,000 different things in my kit. This just works on every fucking skin tone. Like, it's amazing. If you don't have this in your life, I would definitely either create one or get the original. I don't really use the top 3. I do like this one and I do like Banana, but there's other products that I like for highlighting. I definitely mostly use these 3, especially these 2 right here, and the lighter one to like just kind of deepen. I kind of mix the 3, sort of, but I mostly use these 2 right here. My personal favorite bronzer slash contour this year was definitely Dark from MAC. This is the Mineralized Skin Finish Natural. I know it looks hella warm, and of course you would normally not use something this warm as a contour. I was probably the only one who didn't get into like the contour highlighting mask trend. Ain't nobody got time for that, okay? I was more of a highlighter this year. So I was more into like highlighting my skin. I was more into like the J-Lo glow like I always am. But I was more into highlighting my skin than I was contouring it. I love contouring. I think it's amazing. I have a ton of different contouring products, but I just didn't really truly fall in love with any of them. I'm not really a huge fan of sculpting on my own face. I like more of a bronzy look, as you guys can probably tell. I like bronzy. I love glowy. Once in a while I will do a heavy contour, in which case I have other products that I reach for to do that, but nothing that I truly like fell in love with, holy grail type of product. I usually went for like a more softer contour this year, and I loved using MSF in dark. I have Dark Deepest as well, which I've also been grabbing for lately, and I also have the Studio Sculpt powder in dark, which I've also been grabbing lately. But throughout 2014, this is the one that I like definitely grabbed a lot, so much that like the dome is flat. That's how you can tell that someone really loves a mineralized skin finish from MAC, is that the dome is flat, because it takes hella long to get the dome flat. Hella, when I say hella long, I mean like I've used this the whole freaking year, and it's like just barely getting flat. Favorite blush of the year to use on my clients was definitely Deep Throat from NARS. I swear almost every wedding that I did this year, this was the bride's blush of choice. I have a million thousand blushes. I have MAC blushes, I have NARS blushes, I have Tarte blushes, I have hella shit. But this one, for some damn reason, was always the winner. I didn't use this as much on myself personally. I use this a lot on my clients, but I just wanted to mention it, that it was definitely a favorite because I actually used it. A ton of my clients love this powder this year. My personal favorite blush this year was still my Cheeky Bronze. Again, one of those things that, like, you know, dome is hella flat. There's even a dip in it. I use this so much. This is my favorite blush from MAC. It's not even a blush, it's a mineralized skin finish. But it is my favorite cheek type of product that MAC carries. If I could live off one cheek product from MAC, it would definitely be this. Like, it's just the best thing ever. A lot of you guys ask me, oh, what do you use for your J-Lo glow? This is a secret ingredient, I gotta tell you. I have a million thousand different blushes that I grabbed throughout the year, but this was still a tried and true favorite. Like, literally when I could think of nothing to put on my face, this is what I grabbed. I have 3 favorite highlighters this year. I was totally late to the Becca bandwagon, so I can't say that's a favorite because I didn't use it enough this year. I found myself grabbing my Mary Luminizer a lot this year because I didn't have the Becca one. I don't know why I was so late, tardy to the party. I didn't even pick it up until like October, November-ish. But I was really using the Luminizer for a huge chunk of the year. I love this one. It's the most beautiful champagne gold glow. Oh, just looks gorgeous on the skin. Love it. My favorite highlighter to use on my clients this year was definitely the Matte Radiant highlighter from Laura Mercier. This highlighter looks so beautiful on almost every skin tone. Like, you can make it super soft or super intense. Only thing is it's kind of pricey, so thank God I got it in gratis because I probably wouldn't have bought this myself. Only other Laura Mercier highlighter I own is Spellbound, which was limited edition. It has like a weird kind of swirly pattern in it, and it's a lot like Cheeky Bronze from MAC. That was the only one that I spent a grip on. It's so expensive. I use this more on clients than I did on myself, so this was in my freelance kit a lot. It was my tried and true highlighter that always worked on everybody, and it photographs beautifully. One highlighter that I noticed I grabbed a lot when I stopped using the Mary Luminizer was definitely Soft and Gentle. A lot of my Instagram pictures this year had this one in it. I use this a lot this year. Like, it's a very underrated highlighter, but it's one of the best highlighters that MAC carries. It's just the perfect glow. It's not too intense, it's not too heavy, it's perfect for every day, so it's not something that's going to look super crazy intense on the cheeks. It's literally just enough. And you can make it look super intense if you want to. It just depends on what brush you use to highlight it. I personally enjoyed using it with a fan brush. It looks the best that way to me. But yeah, these two, definitely I grabbed these a lot this year. This one is an honorable mention. I wanted to say this is more of a complexion product than it is a highlighter product, but I love the liquid luminizer from Josie Maran. This is a tinier bottle. I had a big bottle somewhere. I think it's in my kit, but I love this stuff. It is wonderful and beautiful on the skin for just giving you that nice, yummy glow on the skin. It is awesome if you've never tried it. If you want to try a liquid highlighter, but the High Beam from Benefit is like too pink for you. I also like Sunbeam from Benefit, but something about the texture in this one, it just looks so gorgeous and smooth on every skin tone. And it's wonderful if you want to mix it in with your foundation. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. Whew. I wore a lot of lashes this year, so I did not have too many mascaras that I fell in love with. The only one that truly stood out to me that I've used a huge chunk of the year was the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. I used this a lot this year. a lot. It's probably one of the only ones I used besides like any Lancome ones I had or the Dior over curl that I had. I don't know why I didn't use this when I first got it, because I've had it forever, and then I was like, you know what, fine, I'll finally use it. I asked my coworker if she liked it, and she's like, yeah, it's actually kind of nice. It didn't really truly take off until this year, but it's been out for a while, and I was like, oh, fine, I'll finally try it. So I've been trying it for a huge chunk of the year, like I would say at least 8 months. It's lasted me more than 6 months. Usually mascara only lasts about 6 months, but this one did pretty good for me. This one has a 6-month life, but I feel like it got better when it got slightly tackier. So for like the first try, I was like, I kind of sort of like it. And then I was like, you know what? It feels kind of thin. It's one of those mascaras that I think I need to dry out for a little bit. So I kind of went like this and let it dry out for like a couple of days. And it was like the perfect consistency since then. Because I didn't really use mascara this year, I used a lot of lashes. My favorites were definitely, of the red cherry ones, I definitely used the 43s and the 415s a lot. 415s are a little bit fuller. I have to trim them a little bit because they're super long. 43s are like a thicker version of Demi Wispies. So if you're in love with Demi Wispies but they're just not enough for you, 43s are slightly more dramatic. I also use the 48s, but I grabbed the 43s a lot more this year. And I also used a lot of Ardell lashes, specifically the Glamour Wispies. I use these a lot this year as well. Recently, my favorite lash is definitely the 35s from MAC. I love these lashes. Like, I started using these, I want to say like in November-ish, October, November-ish. And I swear to God, like, I always get compliments every time I wear these lashes. They don't look like they would be that nice, but they're freaking gorgeous when they're on. I love these lashes, and they're beautiful for stacking. If you stack them on top of a fuller lash, like for example the Wispies or even the 415s, if you stack them on top of a lash that's like more evenly distributed throughout, this is just gorgeous. Or if you stack them on top of a flared lash like the 43s or the Demi Wispies, they're just beautiful. Like, if there's any MAC lash I could recommend, it would definitely be the 35s. They are worth every penny. So now I want to go ahead and get into brows. My favorite brow pencil of the year is definitely the Brow Is in Brunette. I went through 2 of these this year. This one is Done Son. I'm sad because I was like, shit, now I need a new one. Like, that's the worst sound to hear when you're using your brow pencil. The good part that I like about these compared to the MAC ones is that you can actually tell when you're kind of out of it, and I like that you can twist it up and down, so you can kind of tell how much you have left of it. The MAC one, you can only twist it up. I do very much enjoy the MAC one, however. I also use the one in Brunette. The one in Spiked was a little too dark for me, but the texture of this one is beautiful. Like, I love this pencil. I would continuously repurchase this pencil. It is awesome. I know pomades were like the thing this year. Pomades and gels and shit were like the bomb this year. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and mention the pomade only because I used it on a lot of my clients this year. However, for me, the Aqua Brow from Makeup Forever, kind of just a smidgen better for me personally on my brows. I really enjoyed the dip brow from Anastasia, but I used it more on my clients than I did on myself. I did really enjoy it, but I felt like for some reason, just the way it works and the way it's easier to apply, I just really loved the Aqua Brow this year. This was one of my favorite products for a while. They finally expanded the collection. When I had 25, I wasn't using it very often. I finally picked up 30 because 30 came out this year. This is the perfect black brown type of brunette shade in my opinion. 25 is a little bit too ashy for me. It still looks good, but it's just a little bit ashy for me. So personally, I love the warmth in the number 30. I love them both, but I gotta be honest, the Aqua Brow did it for me this year. And then I should have mentioned this in concealers, but I'm mentioning it in my brow products because this is what I use to clean up my brows. I used to use Bobbi Brown, the creamy concealer, but it was a little too thick for me, and then I switched it up to using the Studio Finish concealer from MAC in NW25. Then I lost it and I was like, oh shit, I guess I gotta get a new one. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try something liquidy because I started experimenting at work, and at the time, not when I worked at MAC, but when I was still at Sephora. At the time, I was using the NARS Creamy Concealer to cut brows for people, and it was just wonderful. So I went to go get me a sample of the Select Cover Up from MAC, and this is a really hefty sample, let me tell you, because they were trying to just finish the jar. This one is an NW25, and I've been using it since I got it, and it hasn't oxidized or gotten weird or anything, but it is perfect to cutting my brows because it doesn't give me that super clean sculpted look. It's just clean enough. So it's not like so clean that it looks fake and over sculpted. It's just enough to give me a really nice highlight, and that's what. So now let me start talking about eyeliners. My favorite eyeliners of the year. Okay, my favorite pencil liner. This is a holiday version, but it's usually black. This is a very tiny version of my Sephora 12-hour contour pencil in black lace. This was my favorite pencil this year. I probably went through a million of these. I repurchased it constantly. I love how creamy it is. I love how long lasting it is. It was one of the best eyeliners I tried this year. I finally went back to using gel liners, and I fell in love with the AMC liner from Inglot. This is in number 77. It's just a pure black. I love this liner. It's amazing. But it is so beautifully, richly black. I love really dark black eyeliner. If you ever see me with super, super black, really fleeked out, did I use that word right? If you ever see me with like super, super rich, dark black, fleeked out eyeliner, more than likely I use this to do it. I also reached for a lot of MAC pigments this year for sure. I definitely loved rose and tan. I don't know where my tan pigment jar rolled out to, but this one is rose. I love this color. It's so beautiful. Tan is also wonderful. I used that in a glow, summer glow type of look earlier this year, and I have a tutorial on the rose pigment as well. I really loved using pigments this year. I started reaching into my collection and started kind of going through them and started poking through my collection, and to be honest, I fell in love with a lot of them all over again, but I definitely really loved rose and tan for sure. I didn't really reach for a lot of palettes except for this one. I have to be honest, I don't have too many eyeshadow favorites this year. I used my self-made neutral palette from MAC a lot this year. And when I say a lot, I would say almost every tutorial I did this year, I had this palette in it somehow. I really enjoyed this palette. I'll probably go through it in a separate video. I owe you guys a video of that. You guys have been asking me for a video of that forever, and I'm so sorry. I've never gotten around to doing it. But definitely love this palette. My favorite MAC shadow, or just favorite shadow of the whole entire year that totally changed my life, is definitely Brown Script. I use this so much this year that I'm surprised there's not a dip in it. I really love this shadow. If there's one shadow from MAC that I could choose to live with for the rest of my life, it's definitely going to be Brown Script. As far as shadows that I used on clients, I definitely loved my Makeup Forever Artist shadows. These are just a few that I have. Well, not a few, there's 6. But there's like 4 or 5 more that I have that aren't in this thing, because obviously it can only fit 6. But I have more, obviously. There's just a few, because these two are two of my favorite colors that I absolutely love. Couldn't tell you what the names are right now because they're so stuck in this palette that I can't pop them out. I'm sorry. But I really enjoyed using the artist shadows when they came out towards the end of the year. I would say mostly like October, November, and through holiday. I think they came out like late fall, or well, early fall I should say. But I really loved using these. Like, these are the bomb. They're amazing. Okay, so now I want to go ahead and talk about lip products. We're almost done, I swear. Lip products and then tools and then it's over. My favorite lip products this year. Okay, this was very challenging because I use so many lip products, it's not even funny. Like, I switch it up so much that I don't think I even had time to think about what were my favorites. I have to be completely honest. But I'll tell you right now that I was obsessed with finding brown lipstick. I love the 90s trend brown lipstick. Like, oh, I'm so happy they brought it back. However, I was not happy that they made it the Kylie Jenner lip. It is not the Kylie Jenner lip. I'm over people saying that. It is not the goddamn Kylie Jenner lip. If y'all were born in the 80s, you know that it was a 90s lip. Let's just be real, okay? That being said, I was very much into finding a lot of brown lipsticks. Some of my favorites, just to give you a little bit of a mention, definitely Cognac from Bite. Love this color. It's my favorite dark brown of the year. My favorite medium tone brown is Verve from MAC. It is like a mauve brown. Very beautiful. And then my favorite kind of mid-tone slash nudie brown was Taupe, which is that one. So these are just some of the ones that I grabbed for a lot this year. I was just obsessed with finding brown lipstick. I wanted every single brown lipstick I could find in the world. I was obsessed with finding brown lipstick. Brown. I want brown everything. That being said, my favorite brown liner of the year, I have 2. This one is Stone. It's like a taupier brown. I was very much into the taupey brown trend as well. And my favorite kind of natural nudie brown was Strip Down, which is that guy. Sorry, swatch. Clearly I don't know how to swatch anymore. But yeah, there's Stone and then there's Strip Down. Love those two. These definitely were my favorite brown liners of the year. And then my favorite natural colored liner was definitely Whirl. This is like the color of my lips, which is why I really enjoyed using this one. Because now I notice, I don't know if I just don't exfoliate enough, but my lips used to be a really nice rosy pink, but now they're getting darker. I don't know if it's just me getting older or what, but they were getting a little bit darker. So around the edges of my mouth, it's a little bit darker, and I find that this color evens it out all the way around. Everybody's all in love with a ton of other different colors, but I am dark skin tone. Let's just be real, okay? I am tan, and there's only so many light pinks in the world that work for me. That being said, I liked pinks that were a little bit warmer, not so cool tone and blue based. I liked ones that are a little bit warmer and gave some life to my skin. But as far as actually choosing my favorite lipsticks, that was really, really hard, so I'm not even gonna go there. It was way too difficult for me to choose lipsticks. Like, yeah, no. I had way too many. Like, I loved creamy lip stains, I loved lip stains, I loved liquid lipsticks, I loved butter glosses, naked glosses. It just, yeah, this video is gonna be like ridiculously extensively longer than it already is if we went through that. So now I want to go ahead and talk about my favorite tools this year. I definitely enjoyed using these this year, more so on other people than myself, because I had a lot of wedding gigs this year. But I love using the Real Technique sponge. This is a wonderful product. Like, it's wonderful. Sometimes I might even like it more than my beauty blender sometimes. This one's the purple one. Of course, they're not engorged and wet or anything, but this one is the purple one from Color of the Year, the orchid color, whatever. I do have two of the pink ones, and I have the purple one, and then I have like 4,000 million ones of the Real Techniques ones, because they always go buy one, get one 50% off at Ulta. Favorite all-around brand of brushes that I love this year, definitely going to go to Sedona Lace and Real Techniques. My two favorite Real Techniques brushes are definitely the contour brush and the Expert Face brush. I have the buffing brush somewhere, but I use these two more. Definitely reached for these two a lot this year. Love these guys. And then for my Sedona Lace brushes, I have quite a few of them. These are just some honorable mentions. The fan brush, I was really into using a fan brush for highlighting this year. I love fan brushes for highlighting now. I'm obsessed. Before, I was using my Precision Blush Brush, which I will also mention because I love this brush. But I was definitely reaching for my fan brush a lot this year. It's a little warped right now. And then my favorite Sedona Lace brushes in general this year. Definitely I love this angle one for concealer. Wonderful. And then I use this big fluffy one for setting my under eye concealer. And then I loved this one for my foundation, especially with my Studio Sculpt. And then this one is a tiny one that I recently got within the past 3 or 4 months, I want to say. And this is it's a flat shader one from their 12-piece synthetic brush, which I will be doing a review on quite soon. This is their number 305, and I love this for cutting my brows. Before that, I was using a thicker sort of concealer one from Sedona Lace, which I did like, but I love this one so much more. So definitely Sedona Lace was one of my favorite brands this year. I have 3 favorite Sephora brushes. Definitely the one that I just mentioned, the Precision Blush Brush. I actually like this for contouring, I have to be honest. The shape of this brush is just really perfect for blending it out and for applying and for doing highlight. It's one of those multi-use brushes that I loved, so I use this a lot when I was working at Sephora, and a lot on myself as well. Just the way that it places product is just wonderful. My favorite blending brush this year, besides like my 224, my 217, I grabbed this more than my 217 this year. I did use my 217 in a lot of tutorials, but I use this one a lot too. So I just thought I would mention it because the 224 and 217 are just tried and true brushes that I love, like brushes that I can't live without. But I use this brush a lot this year, both on myself and on my clients, and this is the number 27 blending brush, which is a fluffier version of a 217. My favorite foundation brush is definitely the number 53 airbrush kind of brush from Sephora. This one came out later in the year, like around fall, and it's one of my favorite brushes ever. I have 2 of them. That's how much I love them. I planned on doing a video and then I just completely forgot about it. So I definitely want to do a video on this brush because it was awesome. Then 3 of my favorite MAC brushes, definitely love the 138. It's a tapered brush that I love for like my bronzer, doing my like blush. Wow, can't even talk. I liked it for everything, for bronzer, for blush, for highlight, for everything. It was like a multi-use brush that I took when I traveled. My favorite concealer slash foundation slash everything brush is the 159 from MAC. This one is a recent favorite. I purchased this towards the end of the year, I believe, and then just didn't recently start using it until like 2 or 3 months ago. I love this brush. If there was one brush from MAC that I would definitely recommend for the face, you need this brush in your life. My favorite eyeliner brush this year, I definitely wanted to mention this one because I don't know where the hell I've been all my life. I usually use angled brushes when I do my wing liner. I thought I would venture out and start using a really nice thin brush, and I've fallen in love with the MAC 210. It's super tiny and super detailed. You guys have seen this in a tutorial and someone asked me what brush it was. Sorry, I forgot to mention that, but this is a MAC one. It's a 210. It's a little bit thinner than the 209, which I used to use, and it is just perfect for creating a really clean line. I love it. Okay, I think that's everything. Oh my god. Whew. Okay, that was a really, really long, extensive video. I'm exhausted. This video is long enough, so I'm gonna cut it here. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye!